I've been teasing Anders Nelson for a couple of years now. Like, when are you going to get to work? I see him out on the trails, and of course, he was working. He was recruiting. He was getting his team together. But finally, it's here. You must be ecstatic.
Yeah, I am definitely thrilled to be here, and this is obviously a huge checkpoint that we, had marked down when we first took the jobs here. And I will say, I think the athletes are probably more excited than our staff is. Even they're just chomping at the bit to get going and to compete against somebody who doesn't have Commodores across their chest for sure. So, yeah, there's a lot of excitement happening just around our program right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
I mean, those players who have been with you from the get go have been beating up on each other for 2.5 years, right? Isn't that about how it's been?
Well, athletes joined us about a little over a year ago. So they've only been here for the last year. The first year and a half was just staff, actually, and just recruiting. And the best way I can put that into terms of how much recruiting we've done is we've recruited now, we're working on our fourth high school class. And we haven't played a match yet. So we've recruited the 24s, 25s, 26s, and now we're on the 27 class. And we still haven't played a match. So that's obviously been where the bulk of our time has been, and just creating a culture and getting our staff on the same page and things like that.
Well, everything you do is going to be historic because it's a first year program, and you play against Kansas in the AVCA first serve in Lincoln on the second day of that on Saturday, August 23rd,
Yep.
and then the next Friday you open at home against Belmont and another area team, and that's got to be. I mean, it's just I would just be beside myself because I've seen you for so long doing this. Your staff and everything, and it's just been.
Yeah, I think we got the best three-match start to the volleyball season for any team in the country. We get to play at first serve, which is obviously a huge opportunity for us. And Kansas is going to be ranked and going to be really tough. And I love the chance to get to play somebody of that caliber. And I
Yeah, and
respect
it's
them.
nationally televised on FS1.
And we
Yeah.
get to be televised. Actually, the first three are all nationally televised, which is amazing. So our second match is our first home match here, like you said, against Belmont. And the coolest part about that is we are planning to hold that outdoors in the middle of campus, and they're creating a 3,000 seat venue and a sport court in front of one of the most iconic spots on our campus. And we're going to go for it. And this was actually an idea pitched to me by our administration and by the Vanderbilt campus. And one of the things about a school like this is it's a little different, and with our size being what it is, the community and our relationship with academics and with that side of campus is a lot closer than any other place I've been. And we really wanted to make this a hallmark experience for our freshman class that's coming in, not just for our volleyball team, but for the Vanderbilt freshmen. And I want them to leave and talk about this being a core memory of them. Like volleyball was started when I was a freshman. So we've actually got it worked out where all the freshmen are required to come to that match. So it's going to be part of their freshman orientation. And yeah, we have no doubt that it's going to sell out. It's going to be on the SEC network, and just keep our fingers crossed that the weather holds up, because this could be a really, really exciting event for Vanderbilt, but also for volleyball.
Not just a program opener, but outdoors on the Wyatt lawn. Note to self: bring an umbrella, guaranteed out of rain because you've done that. Um, tell me about putting together the roster. You know,
Yeah.
because the other stuff is all you go about it. You make your schedule, you get the program, you get everything going, but you got to get the players, and they've got to be good players because, excuse me, the league is good, and you've had all this buildup. So I think you've had your honeymoon period ends when it starts.
Yep.
Nobody's sitting back going, "Oh, Vanderbilt's got time to get things going." Now I'm looking at it, and you may disagree, but it's like, hey, you've had time to build this program, get these people in. You
Yeah,
better be
let's compete. Let's compete for sure. And that's definitely the mindset. And we want to play postseason volleyball. And this team wants to play postseason volleyball. And that's been something that we've talked about for a long time because of this ramp up period. But building the roster, yeah, we started with the 24 class, like I said, and a lot of them were already committed by the time. I would guess that, three-quarters to four-fifths of the, top 100 was already committed by the time I got the job here, just the way volleyball recruiting works. But I was pretty floored by how many great athletes were still available. And we definitely geared towards athletes in that class because we knew we'd have the year to train them. And we put a lot of faith in our ability to train and develop players. So that's the first thing I think is we just took more in the 24 class than we were expecting because we had all these great athletes. And even the last commit in that class, which we were not planning on taking, a sixth, member just based on our, my mindset, she just touched 10-7 a couple weeks ago. So these athletes were still around, and they're developing like crazy in our program now. And that was one of the feedback I got from the teams we played this spring is like, yeah, you guys got a little ways to go, but you're just so athletic. And I enjoyed hearing that. And I think, again, we can train those athletes. The next was a 25 class. So again, we recruited these two high school classes before we'd even talked to any transfers, just the way the timeline worked. And yeah, our 25 class is really good and ranked, 10th by, one publication, 11th by another. And they're deep, they're athletic. They've had a little more success than the 24s had. They played on higher level club teams and things like that. So that's the bulk of our roster is really freshmen and redshirt freshmen, and it's a really unique space to have that many people on a roster who have not played a college volleyball match before. And the rest of the roster was transfers. So we built it with, people that we could tell saw our vision. I also had some advice from the Clemson softball coach, who started a program about 10 years before we did. And he talked a lot about, trying to attract mid-major athletes because they're going to be so grateful for every experience they have to be at a place like this and to start a program from scratch. And it's really worked out that way. And they have been so grateful. It's really fun to have players from the Ivy League and from Loyola Marymount and things like that. And Gear Day the other day is a good example. They were over the moon grateful for what they got. And that's a pretty fun experience as a coach to have players like that.
Yeah, I mean, Isabella Barefoot, Sydney Conley, and Mia Sorensen are all graduate students, which sounds funny for a first-year program being graduate
Yeah.
students. Jackie Moore is a senior, and then I'm counting here: one, two, three, four, five, six freshmen, two juniors, and five sophomores on the roster. So
Yep.
it's an interesting mix, and in theory, with you know three graduates and a senior, you've got upper class leadership. You would
Yeah.
think, and but I
Yeah.
would think that the even like the freshmen coming in would have a sense of ownership of this thing.
Absolutely. No, our team is very proud of the culture they've built, especially that we had 10 of them there here last fall, and we called that group Team Zero. And that group especially has a ton of pride in what we've built and where we want this to go. And we talk about it all the time. I mean, yesterday we were talking as a team and we brought up the phrase plant trees you'll never see. And if that doesn't mean anything to you, like this is probably not the best program for you.
No, that's a good line, but it's true. But on the other hand, you're not naive to this. I mean, you come from you know quite a volleyball pedigree. You know what it's like to win a national championship from being at Kentucky. You know how good the SEC is in sports and has been. The last couple of years, I think, has gotten the most teams into the NCAA tournament. You
Yeah.
know, so you can know. I mean, to some degree, I don't know how much you want to say, but how good will you be? What can you compete for a championship? Can you get into the upper third? Do you have to give me the coach's line and go, we're taking it one
Yeah.
match at a
Yeah.
time?
I mean, I honestly don't know, Lee, and I know that sounds crazy. I think we competed really well this spring. We competed really well against Tennessee. I thought we played, four decent sets against Louisville. We played one stinker, but we played four good sets against them. I didn't like how we played against Purdue, but we did keep some close sets there. So that was our glimpse of how we could be. And I really don't know. I know what is important. Like I know we got to pass the ball better, and I know every coach is probably saying that right now. But to win at this level, you got to pass the ball really well, and then you got to kill the ball. And those are obviously things, again, every coach would say that to you, but our goal is postseason volleyball. Our goal is to make the tournament. And that's where my mind is right now of just trying to get in that top half of the SEC. But my answer to this could be totally different a month from now and different again a month after that. So we'll see. But that's one of the really fun parts about this experience for me is Kentucky. We were preseason pick one or two almost every year I was there. And that's a really cool experience to be a part of. But there's a little bit of pressure and a burden that way. And this year it's like, hey, let's just go see what we can do. And that's a really fun place to be in.
Tell me a little bit about some of these players individually, like maybe two or three who the general volleyball population may not be familiar with, but who are potential all SEC and maybe better than that players.
Yeah. Jackie Moore is where I'll start. She's a transfer from Loyola Marymount. She led the country in hitting percentage in 2023, hitting off of Issa Bareford. So she was hitting off the setter that we have on our roster now. And Jackie put up absolute monster numbers in the spring. And again, against teams like Louisville and Tennessee, she was, I think against Louisville, she had the most kills for us as a middle. So we know she can score against the best, and she's got just elite vision and elite range as an attacker. And she's developing really well. The next one is Cami Chaney. She was the Ivy League Player of the Year for Princeton. And Cami has one of the better step closes I've coached. She just has a really powerful approach to the ball and hits the crap out of it. And I'm really excited to see, just the fans kind of flock to her because of how hard she hits the ball and because of just the attention she's going to create. Because man, does she like to take big swings in big moments. And that's, again, another player you really want to coach. And then Haley Mack, she was our very first commit. And Haley comes from, a sports family. Both of her parents played college basketball. Her dad's coached at Xavier, Louisville, now College of Charleston. So she gets it probably more than any player I've ever coached. That kid grinds so hard. And She has super high goals for herself, and she just keeps exceeding our expectations as a libero and how she plays the game and how she passes the ball.
I mean, all those kids you just mentioned. I mean, like Mac's parents both played college basketball. Cheney was Player of the Year in the Ivy League, and that was a really good Princeton team.
Yeah,
And Jackie Moore says her mom played volleyball and basketball at San Diego State. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Her
Um,
mom apparently had like 52 kills in a match and still rubs it in Jackie's face. But we have to remind Jackie about side out scoring. The numbers were a little different back then.
yeah, and I'm guessing you're going to spray the ball around a little bit better than that and get somebody to.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have anybody get 50, drop a
Um,
50 this year.
your schedule's most ambitious. I mean, Kansas, Belmont, Illinois, then Lipscomb, another team across town. So it's great that you're playing both Belmont and Lipscomb. Then you play
Yep.
Minnesota, Cal, which should be better. UC Santa Barbara, which I never know what you're going to get each year with them. Western Kentucky's always very, very good, and UC Irvine is a program that's on the way up. Before, and you open with a breather, SEC breather at Texas. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really important to me that we, got the Nashville connections going and getting to play in the Broadway Block Party, plus getting to play Belmont and Lipscomb is really important to me. And I'm close friends with both of those head coaches. And Rosenthal has been just incredible, welcoming us to town here. So I'm really excited about those matches. Yeah, the ACC SEC Challenge is really cool because Jackie Moore's from the Bay Area, so we'll get to go play in her hometown out at Cal. And yeah, Western's only an hour away. So I respect the heck out of Travis and obviously know what, getting them on our schedule can do for our RPI long term. But it could be a very tough preseason for us. And we know that, or a non-con for us. And we know that. And again, if we're going to, play at the level we need to play at to make the postseason, we got to beat good teams. So we wanted to put ourselves to the test right away.
Well, are you nervous, excited, scared, anxious? Any of the
Everything.
optimistic, all the above?
Everything. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I'm nervous, of course, but it's good nerves. Yes, I'm anxious as hell, but it's good anxiety. I'm optimistic where the program is at. I'm really proud of our staff and our momentum that we're building, and we're selling a ton of tickets already, which is really cool. And our social media is just exploding, which is stuff that you got to care about as a head coach in this day and age. So I'm really proud of where our momentum's going, and I'm fully aware that we got to win matches to keep that momentum going. So it's time, and we're ready to go.
Well, as someone who has covered the SEC for almost 4 decades, in my previous life, um, I would tell you that we always were like, why doesn't Vanderbilt have volleyball? And it's about time because it's a school that oozes all the things that you would expect to have a volleyball program. You're in a volleyball rich area, and I think I'll say this: I think they made a good hire, and I love young
Thank you.
Corbelli being on staff with you, and so you're part of the volleyball family of America with him, and
Yep.
it's really exciting. I think everybody in volleyball is rooting for you guys to do well.
Thank you, Lee. And yeah, I think you and I had conversations at the PMAC about Vanderbilt adding volleyball at some point over, the last decade. So yeah, it's time, and man, am I grateful to be the one who gets to bring volleyball back here. It's truly the opportunity of a lifetime.
He is Anders Nelson. He's got the whole world in front of him, and he's still undefeated as the coach at Vanderbilt. If you've gotten this far, please go to the link on the YouTube and sign up for 900 square feet, the only all volleyball email. Anders, thanks so much. Great to catch up.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate you having me.